Oh, yes. 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 All right. Oh, okay. My camera's playing some crazy tricks on me. So it's kind of got that green screen thing going today. So, man, that's awesome. All right. Welcome to the Dan Show, man. I have got some great picks. Also, very excited because I have never been so happy to be so wrong. For those of you who know that I predicted Pittsburgh Steelers would beat my Chiefs, and for a while that looked like it was going to be true. And as we are talking, I am actually making a second bet. So I have two bets, not just one. I got two bets on the playoffs. I actually have two bets. So, and I'm going to reveal both of those as the show goes on. Both pretty solid picks. I got very lucky, and I did some in-game betting for the Raiders-Bengals game, which was a little unusual for me. I usually DVR all the games, but I decided to watch it live. And once the score was 10-3, I took the Raiders plus 10.5. And then once it was 13-3, I was able to get the Raiders plus 14.5, and both those bets covered. Ended up going 2-1. Of course, I lost Pittsburgh plus 12.5. But again, it feels really good to be so wrong. So, right before the show started, I found out Wink Martindale, defensive coordinator for the Ravens, was fired. I thought it was kind of surprising, and I'm kind of connecting the dots here a little bit. I'm kind of wondering if this is something behind the scenes. And I say behind the scenes because the inside linebackers coach for the Ravens left to take the defensive coordinator position at Michigan. And Michigan had a really good year, of course, beat Ohio State and went to college football playoffs. And there's been a lot of noise about Jim Harbaugh. I think I get the names mixed up. Jim Harbaugh going to the Raiders. And I'm kind of wondering if that means that the defensive coordinator for Michigan is going to take over as defensive coordinator. Anyway, I may be reading too much into it, but with Mike Mayock being fired from the Raiders, I'm kind of wondering if Jim Harbaugh is going to go and take over as the Raiders' new head coach, and that coaching staff is going to disseminate from Michigan, which means that the coach, and I don't know his name, the defense coordinator for the Wolverines, is going to take over as defense coordinator for the Ravens. So, yeah, Jimmy, man, I'm sorry about that, dude. We'll find out what's going to happen this week. I do have a prediction. I'm going to actually go over all the games here. So, hey, man, Funk, what's up, brother? Luke is on. He just got over the – oh, really? Oh, damn. Hey, man, yeah, no, hey, man, thanks for hitting the like. Tell Luke nothing but love. I haven't been on his show, so let him know lots of love from me. I really need to – I'm going to touch base with Luke because I kind of want to talk some draft stuff with him. And as of today, as of right now, I got the Lions taking Hutchinson. I know that him and you and a lot of other Lions fans are liking Hamilton. I still like Hutchinson. And the drill is that you always want to take a double-digit sack guy before you take a top 5 safety. So let's just say Hamilton is going to be a top 5 safety. That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. I still would take Hutchinson, even if he's not a Pro Bowl caliber player, over a top 5 safety. And you have to realize it's also cheaper because a top 5 or top 10 pass rusher is going to be cheaper than a top 5 safety. And just apples to apples, as of today, as of right now, I got Hutchinson rated higher, even though I haven't done a big board. But thanks for the love, man. And tell Luke I said hi. I got to reach out to him. I haven't done that in a while. Dick move on my part. I placed the bet. Hey, well, listen. Hey, man, I'm glad you ended up winning some money on the Kelsey prop bet. So I'm glad that worked out. I don't have the up to the minute prop bets, but using my bookie in the links below if you want to check it out. I haven't done it yet, but I may take Davante Adams. I think it's 94. I may take over 94. I saw something on the NFL Network. The last 5 games, he's averaged over 120 yards against 49ers. I think Davante Adams is going to have a big game. But the Deebo Samuel receiving yardage was, I think, 56 or 58. I think he's going to have a big game. Now, keep in mind, he had a big game on the ground, but he only had, I think, 38 yards. So Davante Adams and Deebo Samuel receiving yards. Jair Alexander, I think, is questionable. I haven't checked the injury report yet on that game. But for prop bets, both of those. But you know how I've been on prop. I've been so bad on prop bets this year that I'm hesitant to make one. But I do like that Davante Adams, even if it's still 94. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to take a look here. I'm going on my bookie right now. And I literally just made a bet as I was doing the show. So I made one bet yesterday, and I got 2 now. But I'm going to see if I can get it pulled up. By the way, I'm drinking an energy drink and coffee. I am super, super jacked up. Super jacked up. I am over 57% sure I'm not on drugs. I am so glad to be here. So glad to talk football. Slasher, listen, you're not in a bad situation. I know you don't want to hear that, man. I know you don't want to hear that. But listen, you're not in a bad situation at all. I got it pulled up. Actually, I had it on the Giants because I was taking a look at some of the Giants situation. But your draft picks are 15, 16, and 19 in round 1. And I think you're going to get extremely creative in this draft. So, I mean, it's you could do something really, really, really creative in this draft. So this was not a bad year. I'm not convinced Hurts is the answer yet, but he's definitely going to be your starter next year. And I think he's somebody you can build around. I like what I've seen from Hurts. So I think he's definitely your guy going forward. But you got 3 first-round picks. It'll be really exciting to see what you guys do in the draft. So I may take a Kittle prop bet as well. Green Bay's no good against tight ends, but I don't know the spread for that either way. Okay, well, listen, I got it pulled up. Davante Adams, according to my bookie, is 94.5. It's negative 114 either way. I may take the over on that, even though I've been ice cold. Deebo Samuel's 53.5. All right. And I would strongly suggest that one. And then George Kittle's 52 and 52.5. I may take action on that. So 52.5. These are some good prop bets. So all these you may want to take advantage of. So I got some great information here, man. I got some great information. Texans are shopping the 3rd overall pick this year. Is it possible the Eagles moving up? Absolutely. I mean, they got the trade capital to do it. Okay, look, I'm using the draft tech chart, and the 3rd pick's worth 2,200 points, and 15 and 16's 1050 and 1,000. I know the Texans would love to trade down. But I think they'll determine. I think you kind of have to wait and see who their head coach is. And my boy Alex has some knowledge on that, and I really, really want to hear it. I really want to hear it. But 15 and 16 for 3 is a possibility. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if the Eagles move up as much as they would want to move down. And just really stockpile picks. They have some really, really, really good players, some good young talent on that team. But I think one of them you'd want to trade down. And you would have to tell me because you drafted – oh, God, I'm 10 minutes into the show and I already forgot his name. I love the guy coming out of Washington State. I'm drawing a blank on his name. He ended up getting injured and then benched. You have a hole in that left tackle position. You probably want to use one of those picks on the left tackle unless you like the guy that you ended up moving over there. But both Kelsey and Lane Johnson are getting up there in age. So you have some offensive line questions. You would definitely want to use one, if not both of those picks to address the offensive line. But I think out of one of those three, I think you're going to end up trading down. So that's kind of what I see. I would be shocked if they used that to trade up to 3 unless they fell in love with somebody. And I'm not really sure. Alex, I want to hear. Because I've been hearing a lot of different stories. I've heard Flores interviewed. I think Dan Quinn's been making the rounds. I've been hearing that he's the prime candidate for the Denver Broncos, which is kind of interesting because they run a completely different type of defense. And Denver Gator hit me up and he said, "What about Quinn?" And I told him, and I'll tell you guys the same thing. Dan Quinn goes to Denver. Remember, they have some extra draft picks. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to get a trade for Matt Ryan. And Atlanta picks 8th. Denver picks 9th. But Denver also has some extra draft picks. So I wouldn't be surprised Dan Quinn goes to Denver. He tries to bring Matt Ryan. And Matt Ryan, if he ends up in Denver, that's a Super Bowl team. That's immediately a Super Bowl team. But the trade compensation would be a tough one because you're getting a Hall of Fame quarterback, but you're also getting a Hall of Fame quarterback at the very tail end of his career. That's a tough one. That's one thing I'm really excited for. It's the first time in 15 years this team's had 2 first-round picks, and I love Hurts. I got to ride with him, let him develop into a 3. Yeah, you got 3, man. You got 3. And you got 2 of them 15, 16. And I think here's what I today, right now, before free agency, I would say one of those is going to be on a left tackle, and you can get a good one. You may have to trade up. There's some talk about the NC State tackle, who I haven't watched play at all. There's talk of him now definitely being in the top 10. All right. Daniel Jeremiah had a mock draft, and he had Evan Neal going number 1 to Jacksonville, which is what I currently have somewhere. And I want to say it was 10. I don't remember exactly, but the NC State tackle. So you may trade up to get him, but I think that either 15 or 16, I think one of those is going to be on tackle. I really think that you may want to trade down and kind of stockpile picks. But I'll be honest, Philly's going to be – anytime you got a team that's got 3 first-round picks, a playoff team with 3 first-round picks, plus you have a quarterback. And again, I'm not all in on Jalen Hurts, but I think he definitely should be the guy next year. I think you got to give him a shot, give him a chance to see what he can do. So, I mean, if I was an Eagles fan, I would be really excited about Hurts. And then you also got some really good players on the defensive side of the ball. I haven't taken a look at your free agency yet, but Alex, take Jonathan. All right. I can get a odds boost anytime. TD for Randall Cobb for plus 300. Cobb is going to play. I think I saw he was off injury reserve, and I don't know about. Is it a plus 300 boost? Okay, normally 250 boosted to 3. I would normally say no, but I think he's going to score. I really think he's going to score in this game. So I would take it. Okay, Houston has interviewed Philly, DC, Gannon, Chargers. I was not aware Lombardi was a candidate. Josh McCown, that's an interesting one. Hines Ward's an interesting one, and Brian Flores. I knew about Flores. Here's what I heard. Flores is from Jersey, and they hired somebody from the Bills organization. He has a lot of ties to the Dolphins. So Brian Dable and Flores are now prime candidates for the Giants job. Flores would be a perfect fit for the Giants organization, and I think that would be kind of what I would be leaning to. Some of these names I didn't even know about. Jonathan Gannon, defensive coordinator, and I think he's a fine defensive coordinator. I don't know much about him. But Lombardi floors me. McCown's interesting because he has not been in coaching long. Hines Ward, I would be shocked. Flores, I think would be your number one pick, but I think if I'm Flores, I would really want to go to the Giants if he's from that area, and he also has ties with the general manager. To the best of my knowledge, he doesn't have ties with your general manager, but they were set to interview Rams offensive coordinator Kevin O'Connell via Zoom. That would be a good fit. That would be a really good fit. That would be a great fit. He's probably familiar. If I remember right, he'll be familiar with Brandon Cooks. I think he'd also be really good in developing 16 minutes in. Or you had another brain freeze on your quarterback, your rookie Davis Mills. Anyway, Davis Mills. That would be a great fit. I'm really high. This would be a good fit. Alex, let me ask you this here, and I know I'm a little behind on comments, but who do you like? You're a Houston Texans fan, right? You're my resident Houston Texans fan, and I'm really glad you told me about this because I didn't even know half those names were interviewed. So you tell me, who do you want? I'll be honest, out of everybody you've mentioned, Kevin O'Connell to me I think would be hands down the number one guy that I would want personally. But I'd love to hear you could choose. You're open, wide open. Who do you want? Andre Dillard, yeah. He was the left tackle at Washington State. I absolutely loved Andre Dillard coming out of college. I thought this was a slam dunk of a pick when the Eagles went ahead and took him because at the time, oh God, I'm really bad with names. I shouldn't drink the energy drink, but the coach is at Mississippi State who throws the ball 80 times a game. Andre Dillard was perfect pass protection as far as a left tackle is concerned. So, God, that's driving me nuts. I can't think of his name. Anyway, but I thought was going to be a slam dunk. I thought he was going to be your left tackle for the next 12 years, and he was injured, and there was all sorts of problems. Mulata replaced him, but we do need to get Jason Kelsey, you need to replace him. Lane Johnson, I think, is over 30. He also was banged up, missed a lot of games. So you have holes in that offensive line. It would not surprise me if you use two of these first-round picks for offensive linemen. But Mulata, I don't know too much about him, to be perfectly honest. How did he do at left tackle? Because I think you have a hole there. That's kind of what I would recommend your first pick being at 15. If there's a left tackle, that's kind of what I see. Dillard, I think maybe just needs a new change of pace because I loved him coming out of Washington State. I have no idea why it didn't pan out. I have no idea. I mean, you know more than I do, but that would be kind of my number one hole. And then you got, somebody for Kelsey. There's some good offensive linemen in this draft. So I would not be surprised if you use two of these three for offensive linemen and give Hurts the best opportunity because you got two first round picks in Rager, even though Rager, that's another thing, Slasher. You tell me, because every time I see Jalen Rager, he's got the world's worst body language. Like he just seems like he is a guy who just doesn't like football or his teammates or the city of Philadelphia or something. But Devontae Smith played fantastic. He's going to gain some weight. I think he's going to be a star. I really do. I think he's going to be a star. And then I don't know about Rager, Dallas Goedert. Oh God, he looked, if he continues to progress, I mean, he's going to be a top 5 tight end. I mean, the sky's the limit for him. So, Jimmy says, I'm still baffled. Miami fired Flores, beat Pats twice, had a winning record. Seemed like they're trending. Yeah, and I am too. And what the situation is that all these guys from Belichick have the same problem. They clash with front office. They don't get along. Issues with players. This is, I think, a bad decision by Miami. Now, keep in mind, when they let go of Adam Gase, I said publicly, I was like, they made a mistake. And Adam Gase just shit the bed in New York. But I thought they made a mistake letting go of Gase, who I thought did a good job in Miami, terrible job in New York. But what do you want? I mean, seriously, I mean, you got your whole team, you get a brand new team, basically a young team, you have a winning record after starting off 1-7. I mean, what do you want? I mean, I don't get it. I don't know what Miami's expectations are. That's why I would not be overly happy, even though there's a lot of young talent and draft picks in Miami. That's a job I'm not sure I really want, because Buffalo is the team to beat. New England's no slouch, and the Jets are up and comers. So I'm with you, Jimmy. I did not see of all the head coach firings, that was the number one. I was like, yeah, I don't get that. As of now, media figureheads are in love with the idea of Houston signing McCown as head coach. So they may tear apart Houston, McCown, a terrible racist move. Yeah, that's something the NFL is doing publicly and privately, is trying to push NFL teams to hire black coaches. McCown coming back to Houston. He was at a bunch of different places, but he has not been in coaching long. God, here's the deal. If you hit, I mean, the ceiling's sky high, because I mean, he's a smart dude, and everywhere he went, he was just absolutely loved. But I'd have a hard time thinking that he's ready to be an NFL head coach, because I have not heard teams talking about him at all. Yes, it would be a problem, because that's kind of a hot button in the NFL right now. So, would you be happy with McCown? I think it would be a major risk, but if it pans out, I mean, you may get one of the best coaches in football. You may also get somebody who's just wildly not ready to be an NFL head coach. So I would love for a trade down just in case Hurts isn't the guy. I would love to have a high draft pick for the QB coming out like Bryce Young or see. Yeah, that's another thing, is that you could trade down and get a quarterback. There's going to be several good quarterbacks. I think the quarterback class next year is going to be a lot better than the class this year. So I think you're going to see multiple teams kind of getting out of that position, and or they're going to be thinking of that way and try to trade and get more draft picks for 2023. So. What's been most notable is Gannon, multiple media figures all saying he'll get head coach first for any other candidate, most link him to Houston. Is reporting he had an amazing interview at the outset, but there might be. I didn't know about that, to be perfectly honest. I don't know too much about him, but I think he did a really good job in Philly last year. Great head coach. It's kind of funny, because I didn't think your defense was that bad. So. Mike Leach. Yes, that was the name I was thinking of. So Denver says, what's up, Pete? How everyone feeling after last week's episode? I'm glad the Chiefs won. I was preparing to see Dan go full. I was for those of you who didn't see the Chiefs-Steelers game, the Steelers went up 7-0 on the defensive touchdown. And it was like 7 consecutive punts. And so when Pittsburgh scored the first touchdown on the defensive side of the ball, it was exactly like I thought that was going to happen. The Chiefs offense was going to sputter, not really hit on all cylinders. Pittsburgh would be able to generate a pass rush. It would be a real ugly game. And then in 2.5 quarters, the Chiefs put up 42 points. I mean, there was no stopping that offense. And I'm going to talk about it coming up, because I'm going to break down all 4 of these games. But yeah, I couldn't remember Leach, but yeah. Andre Dillard just dominated Mike. I think it was Mike Leach's last year at Washington State, and he was like, I think he did. It was like 512 consecutive snaps, and it was basically 512 passes, and he didn't give up a sack. It was something crazy. Dillard's skill set and footwork was just amazing. I thought it was a home run of a pick, and he's just been a turd in the NFL. I have no idea why. Regarding the vacant OC position, Pep Hamilton seems most likely. By the way, that would be a home run. Pep Hamilton will be an NFL head coach in the next couple of years. I have no idea why he hasn't gotten a job yet, but he recently turned down the Carolina interview for the respective OC position. If no better suitors show up for him, expect him. That would be a home run. That would be a home run, Pep Hamilton, because he's going to be an NFL head coach soon. Rager is absolutely terrible. I couldn't tell you what the issue is with this kid. We originally took him because GM was big on him being the next Tyreek Hill. He posted, yeah. By the way, Rager is kind of a big dude. Like he's like 5'10", 5'11", but he's like 200, 205. And at TCU, he was a smooth guy. Ran really good routes. Was a really A+ punt returner. Skills after the catch. I love this kid. I wasn't even mad, even though I had Justin Jefferson higher. I wasn't mad at Philly for taking Rager over Jefferson. I didn't say, this is terrible. No, I thought it was a good move. And every time I see him, like his head's down, I see like players come up to him, give him like a high five, and he's just like, he just seemed, I've seen this happen. No disrespect. Some players just aren't happy in Philly. Is a Texas kid. All right. I couldn't tell you, but yeah, Rager just every time I see him, he just doesn't seem like he's into it. I think he has the talent to be a star. He just doesn't seem like he's in it. So I don't get it. It wouldn't surprise me if Philly just moved on from the guy. It really wouldn't, because he just doesn't seem like he doesn't seem like he wants to play. That's the way I see it. Then he got really fat for the combine, tried to get up to NFL size, the speed, completely disappeared, even got fines. I didn't know that, because in college, he was built like a running back. He's not really a small dude. He's not like Devontae Smith. He shouldn't have problems at the line of scrimmage at all. I didn't know that. And I like I said, I just don't think the guy wants to play. And that's just him, man. I always see him getting jammed at the line of scrimmage on every snap. And when he does get off line, doesn't he? Yeah. It's all up here. I wouldn't be surprised if they just move on. So, if Houston hires a defensive-minded head coach, expect Lovie Smith to be out as DC, all defensive-minded. Yeah, exactly. I would love it if Lovie Smith stayed there in Houston. I think you should too, because if they do, they should use that third pick and just it's going to be fun. Thoughts, Golden Rooster? I haven't seen you in forever, man. Good to see you, brother. Thoughts of Bruce Arians slapping his player? Not a big deal. 20 years ago, this would have been a non-issue. Players, it was not that big of a deal. We're in that type. We're in that type of era where this is a big deal. 30 years ago, it's not an issue. I don't think much of it, but he got fined. He's appealing it. Dude, the guy won a Super Bowl. He's close to winning another one. So, dude, Alex, please hit me up. I follow you on Twitter. You know this. If you have any information, you feel free to hit me up on Twitter anytime. I follow your feed. I think it's great feed. I don't have a link, but follow Alex on Twitter. It's all Houston stuff, and I do. So keep me informed of what's going on. So, yeah, I just don't think it's a big deal. What's up, Dan? Have you already went over you have this weekend? Yes, I did. No, I haven't started Music City, guy. Welcome, brother. I'm just kind of going on the comments here. I've just been kind of ranting and raving here. But the Bengals Titans is the first one, and you tell me, because Derrick Henry has been practicing. I don't have that he's been officially cleared, but it looks like he's going to play. It looks like he's going to play. But yeah, that's first game on the docket, Music City, guys. So you tell me, how excited are you for how excited are you for Derrick Henry coming back? And how good is he going to be? I haven't even looked at the prop bets. I mean, maybe I should put a prop bet on him. Oh yeah, Dan, I told you, she's let him blow him out. Even though Patty, yeah, that slow start really spooked me, and I thought that the last time they played in the playoffs, the Steelers won without scoring a touchdown. It's 18-16, real ugly game. The Chiefs defense played lights out, but the offense was not able to really get anything going. This was pre-Mahomes, of course. But I really thought they would be kind of the same way. And I thought Pittsburgh's veteran defense would be able to kind of confuse and mix things up. Tyreek Hill looked completely healthy. Kelsey looked healthy. Jerick McKinnon played phenomenal. And 42 points in two and a half quarters against a good defense. And I understand that Pittsburgh's not at 100%. They had some injuries that they've been dealing with all year. But yeah. It never felt so good to be so wrong, Slasher. Never felt so good to be so long. Let's go Bengals. Kitty goes. That's Rager could be good. Definitely will be a late bloomer, but I think best idea is there you go. Yeah. If you'd be willing to let him go for like a 5th or a 6th, I'd love him here in Kansas City. But every time I've seen this guy, he seems down, like he just doesn't seem to be at home. I remember you guys drafted a quarterback from Houston years ago when Andy Reid was there, and I'm drawing a complete blank on his name, but he looked like he had all the tools. And I heard the biggest issue he had was being a Texas boy in Philly, and he said the town, the city, it was just so different. It really threw him off. Philly's a tough place, man. If you're not used to it, Philly's one of those sports environments where, they take their sports seriously in Philly. I mean, they're hardcore, they're knowledgeable, they're tough, they're loyal, but it's not an easy place to play. And if you're, and that's why I said, I can't remember the guy's name, but I remember he's a quarterback from Houston. Andy Reid took him in the 2nd round, and the problem was he just had a hard time adjusting to Philly. And that's the only thing I can think of. I'm hoping the Texans change your mind on O'Brien. You want to see O'Brien? That's good. It might be different. BA slapped him without a helmet on, but yeah, I thought the uproar. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I really, to be honest with you, I was kind of surprised it took a big issue. If Tampa Bay was 4-12 or 4-13, this would be something that you may want to, maybe we should get rid of him. But you win a Super Bowl, I think you take the fine. It's a big deal. The Eagles have 2 safeties hitting the free agent market. I wouldn't be surprised to see Howie trade over with Houston if they want to for a guy like Hamilton. I didn't know both your safeties are hitting the free agent market. To tell you the truth, at 19, you can get the 2nd tier safety, which would be kind of a reach. But a guy like Hamilton, that would be a really good pick. I mean, take a look at your division. I mean, your number one team is Dallas, who's going to be a passing team under McCarthy, even though there's lots of talk about McCarthy being fired from the Cowboys, but take it as it is. So right now he's the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys are a passing team. So trading up and getting a big time defensive player, a secondary player like Hamilton, you could also maybe trade up and get a corner, but this is a deep draft on corner. So I would be shocked if they traded up and got a secondary guy. So what's funny to me is all his media types say Carcio didn't care about the optics when it came to McCown interview and possible hire. Yet the next day he wanted McCown to get interviewed to make it look better. Yeah, and here's the deal. The NFL publicly and privately is really pushing for NFL teams to hire black coaches. I mean, that's just the way it is. But McCown, it would be risky, but McCown and Lovie Smith together. If I was a Texans fan, I would love that. Was the whole thing about Urban Meyer kicking the kicker that came out too. I think the NFL is trying to save face. Well, the Urban Meyer thing. Keep in mind, if Urban Meyer was 10-5 when that story came out, it was Kevin Kolb. Yes, that's it, Kevin Kolb. But because he had a losing record and then the girl grinding on him, and there was all sorts of talk about Urban Meyer, so that's why that kind of was like the cherry on top, Did you ever watch the special, the Netflix special where they go to the Last Chance U? Okay, if you watch Last Chance U, the final season of it, they're interviewing the Indianapolis, or I'm sorry, the Indy coach. It's in Kansas. For those of you that don't know, Kansas has a world-class JUCO football program. Like there's several. It's oh God, what is it? The Kansas something. Anyway, lots of NFL players come from there. Anyway, his first season, he leads them to a winning record for the first time in forever. Second year, they win one game. He gets suspended for 3 games for yelling at a ref. He says it multiple times. There's a player from Germany, and he says it like in episode 2 or 3. He's like, "I'm your Hitler," and he keeps saying it over and over and over again. But they only won one game, and he got suspended for 3 games. And then they're like, "Oh, wait a minute! You said you're his Hitler. We're going to fire you for that." That's kind of where it comes from. If he won 8 games, that's a non-issue, but because he won 1, he got fired for it. And that's winning cures all when it comes to coaches. That's just the truth. It's an exciting prospect for a run to the Super Bowl. This will be the first year since 13. Oh man, I've had season tickets since '89. We didn't go last year, and I'm not going this year. My sister and her husband are going, and I don't miss it. They've made. I'm not going to go into detail. They made multiple changes at Arrowhead to make it a lot more difficult. This was pre-COVID to get in and out of the stadium. And also, I don't know how things are like in Tennessee. In Kansas City, the fan base completely changed. As a matter of fact, they mentioned it because there's several primetime games. The announcers are even mentioning it. Like it was like third down, and there was like some girls like selfie, and fans on their phones when they're not. It's a different crowd. It used to be Arrowhead was a diehard environment. It's now Kansas City's also a very fair weather town. I've been here for a long time. I can tell you this for a fact. It's not the same Arrowhead, basically. So, someone been watching Tom Grossi at Alex. Kitty goes meow if no one else gets it. I used to follow him. I'm not subscribed to his channel. He's more entertaining than knowledgeable, but I might have to get back on it. I'm not going to go into detail. Bucks, Mike. I have bets on both of those games. Surprise, spoiler. Yeah, Kevin Kolb. Yeah. And I remember because he was a kid from Texas. He used to, I think he grew up on a farm, wore cowboy boots everywhere. And he said Philly he just wasn't prepared for it. And I was really surprised hearing NFL players say that, but he was just like, yeah. I loved this game too. I thought he was going to be phenomenal, especially with Andy Reid. I thought he was going to take over from McNabb and just be a star. I loved this game. Yeah, I'm with you. Thoughts on firing a Dolphins head coach? Yeah, I of all the coaches, I didn't agree with that. I didn't think they should have fired Adam Gase either. So I was really floored by this. So I'm not really sure. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if there's a lot of things to like about Miami. Okay. They got draft picks. They got young talent. There's some holes. All right. But if you got a coach who takes you to a winning record in that division and you fire him after, he won like 7 or 8 straight games. He started off 1-7. That's a tough job, man. I seen harder backhead slaps on Denizzo. I've never seen NCIS, but you're right. Our society is so anxious to make a big deal of some irrelevant, dumb shit. You're 100% correct. Denver, you're 100% correct. Flores made 26. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that either, Mike. I just know that there was a lot of. Now, I remember when he first took over, he brought a bunch of people from New England, and it was a lot of inexperienced coaches. Like he took I think it was a wide receivers coach, made him offensive coordinator. He took like an assistant, made him like running backs coach, and they just weren't ready year one. And then keep in mind, year one, remember they got rid of the left tackle to the Texans. They traded away Fitzpatrick, who was the number 10 pick overall. Somebody else they got rid of, but they made all those changes, and then they had a very inexperienced coaching staff. But I didn't realize there was that many. But they let them go, and this has been true. All of Belichick's assistants have had problems with front office personnel and players. So. Yeah, last 3 years. Yeah. Mike's calling Bucks and Bills. Mike, I almost forgot. Yes. You called it last year. So I think the thing is that minorities in coaching mostly tended to be defensive coaches. The NFL is into offensive coaches. I'll be honest, I didn't really think of it that way, but Byron Leftwich, Eric Bieniemy, these are offensive coaches. I think Leftwich is going to get a job. Bieniemy is interviewed with Denver. I actually thought he would be a perfect fit for the Raiders job because him and Gruden's offenses are almost perfect syncs. But I think I think Vegas is going to go with Harbaugh. It wouldn't surprise me if Bieniemy ends up in Denver. I've heard some things like he just didn't interview well. I've heard some other things, but the one thing is that the NFL publicly and privately is pushing for black head coaches. And this is not the right format program to talk about it, but it doesn't make sense that the NFL is 85% black and you currently have one black NFL head coach. I mean, it doesn't make sense. And the NFL knows this, and the NFL knows it looks bad. So, I mean, but, I also, if you got somebody who's the best fit for the job, I mean, you got to take them. It doesn't make sense that there's not more black head coaches. I kind of want to make this into a race issue. but yeah. American Football Network, what's up? First time viewer, dude. Thank you, American Football Network. I love to get new people in here. Since you're new to the show, what's different about me is I make predictions, but I also put my money where my mouth is. I talk the talk, and I also walk the walk. I have 2 bets, and I haven't even talked because I've been just going through the comments, just answering questions. But I am going to break down all 4 of the games. 2 of them I have bets on, and I'll tell you what they are here in just a bit. I'm just getting comments, and then man, glad you subscribed. If you don't mind, give me a thumbs up. Everybody in here, give me a thumbs up. I deserve it. You give me a thumbs down. I think they removed the dislike button, but you can give me a thumbs down if you don't like my show. I don't mind a thumbs down, but I definitely want engagement. Any comments would also be appreciated besides the comments I get here if you want to drop a comment, but it's up to you. I heard rumblings Flores got fired because he wanted too much control of the roster, even go so far to say he wants the right to make a trade. All of Belichick's assistants have had issues with this. Patrick, Detroit, the former Detroit coach. Was it Patrick? Oh God, Patricia. I'm sorry. Matt Patricia. He had issues with the general manager, Joe Judge. He had issues in New York. So yeah. Oh, Nance Slasher, dude. Thank you so much, man. That means the world to me. I can't tell you how much I love doing this show. I look forward to doing this all week. So yeah. Ravens have fired DC Don Martingale due to flip. Yes, exactly. I was floored by this, and I was kind of reading in between the lines because I only saw this on ESPN about 15 minutes before I turned on the show, and I'm kind of wondering if it's – for those of you who don't know, the linebackers coach to the Ravens left the Ravens last year to take over as defensive coordinator from Michigan. Did a fantastic job, and I'm thinking that he's going to take over as defensive coordinator because Harbaugh is going to the Raiders. Just saying. I think they should get rid of Jimmy G. The guy is okay, but it's really hard to win a Super Bowl with an okay QB despite having a good defense and run game. Some throws he's just, and that's the whole reason why they traded all those draft picks to get rid of him. Jimmy G's going to be gone this year. It's kind of question of where is he going to end up? I mean, he could end up somewhere like the Giants, for example. I have no idea what they're going to do. He could end up. Oh God, there's talk about Kirk Cousins being traded. So if they trade Cousins and may pick up Garoppolo. I don't know, but Garoppolo's not going to be on the team next year. I mean, he's just kind of building up his stock, and some team's going to trade for him. It'll be interesting to see what happens. It'll be interesting to see what happens to him. But yeah, I've never been super sold on him personally, but he doesn't have a good deep ball. That was something the Chiefs pointed out in the Super Bowl. They said that, we played everything close. We knew he couldn't throw it deep. So, but it'll be interesting to see where he goes. So here's the deal. Like, you have some really good free agent quarterbacks. I mean, you have Jameis Winston. Remember, he tore his ACL, but he tore it early, so he'll be ready for like spring ball. You'll have Cam Newton. All right, you're going to have Jimmy G. I think Matt Ryan could be subject for a trade. To be perfectly honest, I've heard Kirk Cousins trades, so it's going to be interesting. Also, Kyle, yeah, absolutely. Don is going to be a big game, yeah. And his 3-4 systems is perfect fit for multiple teams. This was really a surprise, but maybe I'm reading too much into it. But I think that this kind of could be symbolic of Harbaugh leaving Michigan for the Raiders, because the Michigan defensive coordinator came from the Ravens, and he was rumored to be an NFL coordinator position before he took the job at Michigan. Of course, remember the Harbaugh brothers, Michigan and Baltimore. But it wouldn't surprise me if Harbaugh takes the Raiders job because he wants personnel control. And he may, and I can't think of his name right now, but he may leave, which of course he would. All the coordinators would lose their job or all the coaches would lose their job. Well, most of them anyway would lose their job with Michigan. So he may just slide back. So yeah, Flores, I know he interviewed with Houston, Chicago now because he has ties with the new general manager, and I can't think of his name. The new general manager with the Giants, he has ties with him. I think Flores to the Giants makes the most sense because they have almost the same type of philosophy. Judge and Flores, of course, coached together in New England. Normally, if you have a guy from the New England tree, you want to go in a different direction, but this may be an exception to the rule because you have a new general manager. You have a previous relationship between Flores and the guy who's taken over. Of course, the number one name a lot of people are saying is going to be Brian Dable, the Bills offensive coordinator. He's interviewed for a couple positions as well. So. Yeah, I'll give you a few hints here, American Football Network. I am really bad with names. This is why you always call your girlfriend baby. Do not, when you're having sex, do not call her by the wrong name. It's a very bad thing. So I give you some personal advice as well. But I'm really bad with names. I will forget names. And if you hang around, they make fun of me because I called Trevor Lawrence Ryan Tannehill at least 500 times. I have no idea why I did that. So, Andy Reid. It's funny because I loved Marty Ball. I loved Marty Schottenheimer, and I think Andy Reid's a better coach than Schottenheimer, but I almost think I loved Marty more. But Andy Reid just. Is he going to go down top 10 of all time, especially if he wins another Super Bowl or two? I mean, yeah. I feel like it's a fine line being tough on a player and get the best out of them because of gratuitous abuse, because of some power trip point is. And that's the whole thing. If you watch Last Chance U, the guy said it throughout the whole season. I think it's an 8-show season, maybe it's 6 or 8. Anyway, season is like episode 2. Is a German kicker. I think it was a kicker. And he kept on yelling at him like, I'm your Hitler. And that's just what he did. And when they were winning, nobody cared. But yeah, not going to lie, we're fair weather fans too. The fans be into it. Like, oh God, I remember that. It was actually funny. I just saw a throwback Eddie George on Facebook. It was throwback Eddie George highlights. Oh God, I loved Eddie George. I'm not a bandwagon Titans fan, but Eddie George just, oh God, I loved Eddie George. God. And that's like the Derrick Henry comparisons to Eddie George. And remember, Eddie George, his first 5 seasons kept on going better and better. And his 5th season, he had over 400 touches. They went to the Super Bowl. Then he just dropped off a cliff. But oh God, Eddie George is so good. For those of you who don't know, Eddie George, oh God, really good football player. Football isn't a sport that's the number one reason I love football, is that it doesn't matter how good of an athlete you are, you got to have some balls. And the players with the most balls, the most toughness are usually the best ones. That's why football is such a great game. Man, I appreciate Golden Rooster. I really, really appreciate the love, man. It means the world to me. And I know I'm behind on comments. I think I'm about 10 minutes. I am going to go through all 4 of these games, but I just want to talk football. And I'm also super jacked up here. I am over 53% sure I'm not on cocaine, but I got coffee. I got an energy drink. I'm super jacked up. Houston wants to hire a young and passionate head coach. Gannon would fit that very nicely. The more press conferences I watch him and more I learn about him, he seems like a great hire for head coach. I know nothing about him, to be perfectly honest. I just know that I liked what I saw from the defense that they had in Philly, but I know very little about him. Or if you're talking, you said Gannon, he's the defensive coordinator for Philly, but McCown, I did not hear that at all. But the more I think about McCown and Lovie Smith together, that would be awesome. Yeah, this is a show for 32 fan bases. I am a Chiefs fan, but I try to leave my Chiefs bias out of it. I don't always succeed, but that's kind of what I try to do. All 32 teams. If you're a fan of football, come here and let's talk. I wouldn't say Gannon's top for me personally, but I would not hate him. Golden Rooster seems very professional as well. Yeah, this is a great community. I got some guys from Detroit because I was on a Detroit show, and a lot of those guys migrated over, but a lot of those guys are out today. But usually there's a lot of Detroit talk, and those guys are great fans. Great fans. I'm not going to lie, the Lions fans are easily better than Chiefs fans. Not even close. Not even close. Man, thank you. I'm not on cocaine. Don't say this. All right. We'll see, man. We'll see. Welcome to American Football, best channel on tubes. Who's your team, man? Oh, wow. Yes, a Packer. Oh God, yes. We need a Packers fan. So, well, man, come on back, man. Patricia is a low point in the Lions franchise, which, yeah, I know, man. I know. This is awesome. I'm really excited to get Packers fan in here. Per Aaron Wilson, Ravens seem to have it down to 2 candidates for DC, Mike McDonald and the Ravens run coordinator. Yeah. And I think the Michigan, I'm reading too much into it, but I really think that Harbaugh is going to take that Raiders job. Dick Buck, it's been over an hour since I've been verified. I don't understand why none of our sponsorship money has. Weaver was the DC for Houston 2021 a season later fired, replaced with Lovie Smith on Nick Castro. It wouldn't surprise me because I heard the same thing. I just heard about like 15 minutes before I went on the air, but I really think that what the deal is that he wants to I really think this is all kind of coming from Harbaugh taking the Raiders job. So that Michigan coaching staff is going to be blown apart. And he did a really great job. Another thing is that after dealing on the NFL record, being a good NFL assistant, doing a great job on the college side, I think he brings something to that position. So Andy Reid is top 10 of all time already. Just look at his record. Yeah. I mean, there was a thing. Kansas City had, I think it was like 7 playoff wins throughout the franchise, and then Andy Reid has 8. Yeah, phenomenal. American, I'm a fan and longtime follower of the Grassi Posse. Pat Cassie is a show of local YouTube legend in Denver. You know what? I'll re-sign up to Grassi Posse. I don't want to go into detail, but I unfollowed him. I don't know the Denver. Do me a favor. Can you send me a link for the Denver podcast? Because I got lots of respect. It's funny, I'm a Chiefs fan, but I got lots of love for Denver. I know it sounds weird, but the organization, the fans are first rate. The organization's been first rate. I hope it continues to be a first rate organization. But send me a link to this Perna dude. I have no idea who he is. Tomorrow will be a nice warm-up game for Henry. Feed the beast some small meals and reps for the big load next week. Hey, Jimmy, I've never heard of the guy, so yeah. You got to be a sadomasochist. Okay. Let's break these games down here, okay? First game is going to be Cincinnati at Tennessee. Tennessee's a 3.5-point favorite. I think the weather is going to be extremely favorable. The over-under is 47.5. A big deal. It doesn't sound like it's that big of a deal, but Trey Hendrickson, he was injured in the game. He is going to play. If he's 100%, Cincinnati has a chance. Now, this is interesting because I've said this many times. If Tennessee's healthy, they're the best team in the AFC. But that's Derrick Henry's got to be healthy. Julio Jones has got to be healthy. A.J. Brown's got to be healthy. And those three have not been healthy together all year. If they're all healthy, that offensive line's healthy. Tannehill doesn't even have to be 100%. If the offensive line and those 3 guys are healthy, you can beat anybody because that defense is great. Harold Landry is one of my all-time. I love Harold Landry's game. And he played – technically they run a 3-4, but you see a lot of 4-man fronts, and it's a very kind of confusing defense. But that defense is really, really good. And if you got your big 3 on offense, which is unusual because I'm excluding Tannehill as one of the big 3. Now, Tannehill's been playing good, by the way. I'm nothing against Tannehill, but he's out of the 4 quarterbacks in AFC playoffs, Tannehill's the worst. I mean, and I'm not slamming. If somebody feels like I'm insulting Tannehill by saying he's not as good as Burrow lately has been playing lights out. So if Tennessee's healthy, they're the best team in the AFC. I don't know how healthy he is. That's interesting. Okay. No, he's not been activated yet. He's been practicing. He's not been activated yet. And that's key. And that's a big reason why I haven't bet on this. But here's the thing. Out of all the teams Cincinnati can play against, I think that they got the best one. They got a team after the bye that's banged up. And I mean, the thing is that Cincinnati has a really good defense. But what gives them a chance in this game is they actually have a better quarterback. And I'm not insulting Tannehill by saying that. It's just Burrow's been playing lights out lately. He's just been playing lights out. And his receivers are better than the Titans receivers only for health. I mean, if you give me Julio Jones at 100%, you give me A.J. Brown at 100%, I don't know who the number 3 receiver is. They actually got somebody who's not bad. I might take those 3 over Higgins, Chase, and Boyd, but those 3 are really, really good players. I like Tennessee in this game. And the reason why I like Tennessee, I think they cover 3.5. And it's not due to Derrick Henry. I think that Cincinnati's just too young. They haven't won a playoff game in 31 years. They got up early. The Raiders came back. If the Raiders can make that 4th down and they tie the game up and it goes to overtime, I think the Raiders win that game. I think the Bengals. I mean, if I remember right, Joe Mixon, Burrow, Chase, Boyd, and Higgins are all under 25. This is a young team, a very young team, and they're going against a more experienced team, a team that's battle tested, a team that's ready. And as far as defenses are concerned, you have two really good defenses, but I like the Titans defense a little better. It would not surprise me if Cincinnati wins this game because you don't have Derrick Henry at 100%. A.J. Brown's been banged up all year. Julio Jones is banged up all year. And even when healthy, he's not been the same Julio Jones. And he's not going to be. I mean, he's been – a lot of people forget he's been in the NFL for like 12 years. But I do like Tennessee. I really think Tennessee is going to advance. I think Tennessee covers. Even though both teams have really good defenses, I kind of think this could be a high-scoring game. I would lean towards the over because the weather's going to be nice, and I think that these two teams can put up some points. I think it's going to be creative. I think it's going to be a great game. I like the Titans to win. I like them to cover 3.5. If you can get 3, take 3. I'm going to pass on this one because of this reason. You don't know what you're going to get out of Derrick Henry. You could get – look, he hasn't played football in over 2 months. It wouldn't surprise me if Derrick Henry has like 2 fumbles in this game. It happens. All right. And Cincinnati, even though they have a young, good defense, they are a little bit on the smaller side. They are a little bit on the smaller side. I forgot the Titans had Julio Jones. The man cannot open up a banana without slipping on. Yeah, he's been banged up all year. He's been banged up. But A.J. Brown's the number 1 receiver on that team. And when I think I saw something that they were like 10-2 when he plays. And then, of course, that means they're 2-3 when he doesn't. But A.J. Brown's the key. I'll be honest with you, as good as everybody else is, A.J. Brown's the best receiver on the field. And I'm not insulting anybody. I just think A.J. Brown's that good. But he's been banged up. See, the thing is with the Titans, I don't know how healthy they are. But if you give me Henry, Jones, and A.J. Brown at 100%, they're the best team in the AFC. The offensive line, too. So Titans are going to blow the socks off. Julio and Henry are healthy. People don't talk a lot about Julio because he's always injured, but he's still top. I don't think he's top 5 anymore, but on the Titans, he's the number 2 receiver. And going into the playoffs, A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, they're actually the best duo out of all these teams. You know what? I say receiver duo, but I count Kelsey as a wide receiver, so I'd put Tyreek Hill and Kelsey, but like that would be number 1 duo. The 2 receiver duo would be Julio Jones and A.J. Brown. I love A.J. Brown's game. I'm a huge A.J. Brown fan. So Brandon Pina is hilarious, diehard Broncos fan. He'll fake anchor news with real news. Last 2 years. Yeah, please send me some links. I've never heard of the guy, but yeah, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. I thought it was a good trade for both teams. I kind of thought that when they did that, they were going to blow up the whole team, get rid of Matt Ryan. It wouldn't surprise me if Matt Ryan's gone after this year. So, but yeah, the Falcons are kind of building things up, and I think Atlanta's doing some interesting things. I was really, really surprised about the I forgot his name already. The Falcons wide receiver who left the team for mental health reasons, drawing a blank on his name. That was a big loss because that was a legitimate number. He took over as the number 1 wide receiver, and I was like, him and Pitts, oh my God, you have some good things. Cordell Patterson, even though he's a free agent, there's some really good things to like about Atlanta. But it didn't. I thought it was a good trade for both teams. So. They have activated Derrick Henry. Okay, I was not aware. I know he's practicing. I wasn't aware that he was activated. I like to imagine Joe Burrow is fueled by Scott. Burrow's played lights out the last couple of weeks. So this is why I have this show. So he has been activated. Okay, special treat here. I'm going to go on my bookie right now. I got the link pulled up. So anyway, I'm going to see if we can find a line here. Build your own player props. That's pretty cool. I'm not going to do it because I've been so ice cold on props, but stand by. I'm going to see if I can get some Derrick Henry props, see if they're available. Don't say that about Julio, man. We can't see his downfall yet. He's not the same guy. That's not an insult. He's been in the NFL for 12 years. I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he's definitely not the same guy he was in Atlanta. But if he's 100% going into this game, A.J. Brown's the number one dude. So let's see here. I got the rushing yards. See if we can get Derrick Henry. Oh, okay. It's available. Okay, Jimmy. Yeah, okay, yeah. I got Derrick Henry is 82.5. 82.5. And Slasher says 90.5. My bookie has 82.5. So yeah. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I have no idea. Actually, you know what? I'm looking at my bookie right now. Burrow over 8.5, Joe Mixon over 60.5, Tannehill over 15.5. I would take Burrow and I would take Tannehill. 82.5. Ooh. I might take the under. If you're gonna do a prop bet, anytime you do a prop bet and you want an under, wait as late as you can because this number is gonna skyrocket up. Slasher's even saying 90.5. So wow, I'm floored. I'm really floored. But yeah, 82.5. So this is what you get when you join the Dan show. You get live action here. So yeah. Julio is probably turning if Fitzgerald's going to be so. Yeah, it might have just happened. So you see Fitzpatrick. Dude, okay. I saw that. I didn't think it was really him. I thought some guy looked like him. So, what the hell is the finger wagger Burrow is to do during the teammates are? It was negative 114 at 82.5. So that's awesome, Golden Rooster. Let me win you free money. Okay, he likes over 90.5. I would pass on that, but I do like Burrow and Tannehill over, even though Tannehill's 16.5. I know it sounds like a lot, but that's one rush. And Burrow over 8.5, I really like because what they do is that they like to put pressure with just 4 and leave some open rushing lanes. So Chase over 100, maybe because I could honestly see Tennessee double teaming Chase and just that's Belichick 101, by the way. Take away the number one weapon, have them 2 and 3 beat you. So I might go against that one. But hey, Slasher is saying 90.5 and over 100. So they do. That is the weakness of the Titans, but that pass rush is really, really good. The pass rush is really good, and the Bengals' offensive line's a weak spot. So also, I don't know this. Music City guy, if you're available, how much has Caleb Farley been playing for the Titans? Caleb Farley, for those of you who don't know, he was a rookie. I'm taking a look here. Did I just lay an egg? Did he not go? Did Caleb Farley not go to I was positive he went to Tennessee. Did I really screw up? Yeah. Okay, he tore his ACL. Okay, I'm sorry. Because I know they got Kristen Fulton, but this is Belichick's 101. All right, Belichick 101. You take away the number one weapon and then make teams beat you at 2 and 3. So that's kind of why I would go against this, because I could see the Titans doing the same thing. So I'd take the Chase bet too. They're going to get theirs with Titans bet, but don't break defense. Buccaneers losing, Dan. I will put action. Okay, so he went out, week 4. Okay. All right. Hey, it's why I created this community, so I can get this information. So, and Kristen Fulton's a guy I was really high on. I have no idea why he lasted around too, but I love that guy. So, Houston came Kingsley Kiki from the Packers after Green Bay and Kiki had fallen out pickup. You know what? I did not know he is a good player. That's actually a great fit, and he is scheme versatile. So that's a great fit. Yeah, I remember Farley. He was the Eagles board before. Yes. What happened was this dude's like 6'2", 210, and he ran apparently there was like an IMS training facility. Apparently he ran like a 4.21. But if you watch him play, he looks like he's a 4.3 guy at 6'2", 210. But he kept on getting injured. He's a converted wide receiver. And he had back surgery it was after his pro day. He had some back surgery. So he was going to be questionable coming into training camp. But he was also banged up the whole time at Virginia Tech. So Bengals and Rams. That's all right. I'm going to hold you to it. But I also really liked Kristen Fulton coming out of LSU as well. But and I wasn't sure how much he was going to play. I didn't know, but he looks like a 4.3 guy. If you watch film on him, like he legitimately looks like a 4.3 guy, and he's a big dude because he was a big receiver prospect. It was kind of surprising he went to Virginia Tech, but I mean, he was like that wide receiver build that you're looking for. And then they're like, why don't you go on the defensive side of the ball? And he kind of bulked. But here's the thing: if you're a high school receiver and you're 6 foot, go to the defensive side of the ball, and your draft stock just rises. So it was something crazy at that IMS. It was like that IMS, but like everybody was running crazy times there. So. But yeah, it was probably something at 4.3. Next game I'm bringing up, San Francisco at Green Bay. The Packers are a 5.5 point favorite. Over under is 47. It's going to be cold, but nothing like crazy to the best of my knowledge. I haven't double checked on the weather. I like the Devontae Adams prop bet here. Right now, I think it's 94, 92. I just said it earlier in the show, but I really, really like the Packers here. But Bosa has been cleared. Apparently he's going to play. The 49ers have the right package to beat Green Bay. All right, they're going to run the ball. Deebo Samuel's going to be all over the place. Everything's kind of set up. This is how you would beat the Packers. You would beat the Packers by run control. Beat them by run control. Deebo Samuel has to have a monster game, and you got to win the turnover battle. But I think they can do it. It just like I said before, I like the Titans. I like the Packers here as well. But it wouldn't surprise me if I see the Bengals and the 49ers win both these games. Over-under is 47, despite both teams having a good offense. Again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. I actually like the over on both of these. So that's what I got here. Yeah, he's going to be really good eventually if he can. Here's the key: if Farley is healthy, you got to coach him up, and he's in a good area, or he's in a good situation in Tennessee. All right, they're good coaching staff. If he's healthy, he could be like the best corner in football. I mean, the talent's off the charts, but the guy can't stay healthy. So, and it was like we were saying, you got to have balls in this game. You got to be healthy. I might do a Packers Titans money line parlay. That actually is not a bad parlay. It's not a bad parlay. Alex says, Dan, before I forget, how about them Cal? You know what? I am floored by this. There's lots of talk about firing McCarthy, and I'm just floored. Oh, God. And then both assistant coaches may leave. After the Super Bowl, I kind of have it mentally in my head already, but what I do is I take all 32 teams, I put the records down, and I just go and I put like a plus minus. and I kind of keep track. And then like when the over-unders for the year come up, I kind of look at my chart. And like, for example, I had Seattle. They were 12-4. I actually had a positive. I thought that they were actually going to play better. That's why I like them to win over 10 games. So this year I'll have the Cowboys at negative. So something to think about. But yeah. Do you think the 49ers get the Packers like last year? It's possible. Definitely possible. I like the Packers in this one, and the reason why is that you get the 49ers not really 100%. All right, Trent Williams was banged up, Nick Bosa was banged up. I'm not, Jimmy G against Aaron Rodgers, but it wouldn't surprise me if the 49ers win. I like Green Bay to advance. I really like Green Bay to advance. They've been to the last 2 NFC championship games. It wouldn't surprise me if they make it 3. And that's kind of what I'm predicting. But the 49ers have the right type of team. What they need to do is that I'm going to give you a number. If they run for over 150 yards, then they probably get the win. But if it gets to be that they're down by 14, then you're probably SOL. So. I would strongly suggest that. I would strongly suggest the Titans at 3. And by the way, yes, back already. I'm butchering the name, is back. Music City guys, Packers. If the Cowgirls allowed the 49ers in their home, Jerry's masterpiece. Yeah. I couldn't believe that they did that. I was just comically bad. I was floored. I literally, okay. I'm watching this, and when they did it, I literally screamed, "What the fuck?" I literally screamed it. I knew they weren't going to get the ball back. I knew it was going to be the last play of the game. When they did that, I literally knew it was game over. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, it was comical. It was comical, yeah. Did you know since 1993, Houston has won more playoff games than Dallas? Houston 4, Dallas 3. I did not know that. Did you see Cowboy fan highlighted with his alternate girl? No, I did not. That just sounds awesome. I literally said, "What the fuck?" I'm watching it, and I don't have action on the game, and for those of you who've been following me for a long time know that I picked against San Francisco. If they would have lost that last game, I would have won 1,500. So I'm kind of mad at them, but I literally go, "What the fuck?" And because I knew they weren't going to get another playoff. And what was the point? What was the point? You want to go from the 30 to the 20? What's the point? You would have been better off taking 2 shots to the end zone, and because you're in Dallas, and the corners aren't that good, you would have been better off just trying for a personal foul. Or I'm sorry, pass interference. So yeah, I didn't see this though. No one is more happy about Cowboys loss than that. Yeah. It was just such a bad, and I don't know how it works in Dallas, but usually the offensive coordinator calls the plays if you're an offensive-minded coach. So I don't know who called the play. Kellen Moore's been interviewed. A lot of people feel like he's a top candidate. He will be an NFL coach soon. I don't know if he'll be this year or next year, but if he called it, it was a massive mistake. If McCarthy called it, there was rumors that Rodgers would change the plays like 75% of the time, like the last 2 years. And he'd be like, what are you going to do? Bench me? And anyway, I could not believe it. All those crying fans just depressed for a sorry excuse of a franchise lost in a big moment. Just beautiful. I tried to give the Cowboys a break, but you couldn't blame ref because it was just a bad call. This is a game I just put action on as the show was starting. I literally just did this a few minutes ago. The Rams at Tampa Bay. The Bucks are a 2.5-point favorite. I put action on the Bucks. I actually am betting on Tampa Bay to cover. The reason why is I found out Andrew Whitworth is not going to play. He's the starting left tackle. He is 94 years old. No, I'm joking. He's over 40, but he played at such a high level. He's out. So your starting left tackle for the Rams is out. You have a West Coast team going to the East Coast. I think these teams play in the regular season, if I remember right. The Rams won. The Rams won their playoff game by running the ball and being more physical against the Cardinals, which kind of surprised me a little bit. I didn't expect them. After being out physical against San Francisco, they were more physical in Arizona. They are not going to be more physical in Tampa Bay. The over-under is 48. I really don't have a play on that, but I have action on Tampa Bay. If it was 3 or higher, I still would like Tampa Bay to cover. But when I found out Whitworth was out and I can get under 3, take it. I got negative 120. I didn't get a good number, but I really like Tampa Bay in this one. Out of the 3 games I've done so far, I like Tampa Bay the most. I think without Whitworth, the pressure that they're going to be able to put on Stafford is, I think, just going to be way too much. This is going to be a fun one, but you got a West Coast team traveling to the East Coast. It's not an early game, but yeah, it's I put action on it. Whitworth is out. That's a major loss. So nothing like some good pizza in the Dan show, man. Tell you the truth, I got some pizza that sounds really good right now. Twice they gave the Cowboys more time on the clock with 138. 49ers took a timeout to kill the clock and not take a delay a game when they responded the ball to the clock. I actually don't remember that, but I was floored because it made no sense. I actually thought that when they were driving, I thought they would take a shot deep and just go for a pass interference call. And to me, that would make the most sense. Give a jump ball. I mean, give CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper. They're both taller receivers. You could even go with the tight end if you really wanted to. I wouldn't, but I really thought that that's what you would do. And so, yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. 12 seconds on the clock after the pass that got Dallas in the Niners territory before the final play, spotted the ball, and the clock went to 14. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I know that normally I can't remember if it's 16 or 17 seconds, but normally they tell you that you can't run a play and spike the ball unless it's 16 or 17. And I remember it was under 15. So when they did the direct snap, I was like, it's over. Yeah. I'm with you on the Bucs. It's time for Detroit Stafford to show up like he did against the Titans. No offense, Lions guys. He's going to throw some of that. I'm more the reason why I put action on Tampa Bay is Whitworth being out. That's a major loss. Their offensive line was kind of piecemealed together to begin with. Matter of fact, you guys got Stafford in free agency a couple years ago, but with Whitworth being out, it's too much to overcome. It's too much to overcome. I like Tampa Bay anyway, but you have the left tackle out and I can get less than 3. Oh, no, hell yeah. I believe so. Jimmy's asking, is Leonard Fournette back for this one? I believe so. I'm not 100%. I really don't think it matters. And I love Leonard Fournette. I really don't think it matters. The reason why I got action on Tampa Bay is that with Whitworth being out, I just think the defense is going to be way too much. Losing your starting left tackle, who's playing lights out, by the way, it's too much. It's just too much. They gave Dallas 4 extra seconds on their last drive and still lost. Alex, Jerry's the GM. Alex says, Dan, I'm sorry, but the Rams are going to Super Bowl to lose to the Bengals. As I've said many times, I have no problems with people disagreeing with me. I like Tampa Bay before I found out Whitworth was out. When I found out Whitworth was out, I was able to get 3 points or under 3, and I definitely took it. The Whitworth injury is massive. I don't see them, with Whitworth being out, being more physical than Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is a much bigger, more physical front than Arizona. Now, they do have some weakness in their secondary. But I really like Tampa Bay in this one. Makes sense, Music City, Jerry. So I put action. I got the Tampa Bay Bucks covering 2.5. And finally, for the best game on the docket, I'm biased because I'm a Chiefs fan. Yes. Okay. Worf's injury does concern me. Absolutely. Not as much as Whitworth's. I think Worf's injury, they can overcome it. Whitworth's injury, you can't. And I know that sounds crazy, but Wirfs plays on the right side. Whitworth plays on the left. So yeah. And I know you got Floyd and Von Miller, but it's different when it's your left tackle. And Brady's been famous for getting rid of the ball faster. It's like, I think it's like under 2.5 seconds. It's something crazy. So yes, Worf's injury concerns me big time. Not as much as Whitworth. Whitworth being out and Worf's being questionable. I think it's questionable. Different things. So yeah, Aaron Donald's going to line up everywhere, and that's you know that's going to happen. You know it's going to happen, but I'm looking at the other side of the ball. Whitworth being out's just too much. It's just too much. That I'm telling you right now, Tampa Bay's front seven is really, really good. Vaughn has to get one last sack on Brady, his favorite quarterback to sack other than Rivers. Brady was sacked 3.5 times by us, so it's not impossible. Worse is one-legged right now. But here's the thing, Whitworth is out. So that's kind of what the matchup I'm looking at. So final game is Buffalo coming to my Chiefs. The Chiefs are a 2-point favorite. Over-under is 54. For those of you who don't know, the weather in Kansas City the last couple of days has been single digits, and it's just been miserable. It's actually warming up over the weekend. It's going to be like in the 30s. It's going to be perfect football weather. The over-under is 54, which is a low number, by the way. I was really thought it'd be in the 56s. Earlier this season, I think when they played the over-under, I think it was actually 58.5. Buffalo won that game 37-20. This is, I think, easily the best game on the docket. You got two superstar quarterbacks. A lot of people think that now Josh Allen's better than Mahomes. I'm biased, of course, but I still think Mahomes is better than Allen. It's just going to be a fun game. The reason why I'm not all over the over is because both these teams can play defense. Have you been watching the news? Willie Gay, it's actually funny. He did it in Overland Park, which is exactly where this show is located, was arrested. Apparently, he broke a vacuum cleaner. He was visiting his baby mama. They got in a fight. He broke a vacuum cleaner, got arrested. The Chiefs are aware he is going to play. Lately, the Chiefs have been using him on run downs. And then they've been substituting him in passing downs, and the Bills have been pass first team. So it's not really that big of a deal whether he was in or out, but he is going to play. This is just going to be a fun game. Just going to be a really, really fun game. I took Kansas City in 2. I think losing to Buffalo early in the season, getting humiliated by them is a big deal. There's been tons of talk about Frazier and Dable interviewing for other positions. You need and yeah, I know that they won against New England, and normally that's not that big of a deal, but you're hearing Eric Bieniemy, but he's done this before a couple times. The winner of this game is going to advance to the Super Bowl. Tennessee, if they can get through healthy, they're the best team in the AFC, but I don't see them being completely healthy. I think the winner of this game is going to advance to the Super Bowl. And I think it's going to be Kansas City. Buffalo's been playing really good. And Allen had a great game. I mean, let's not take anything away from him. And his ability to run the ball. Running quarterbacks are always very dangerous in the playoffs. But Pittsburgh's defense is better than Buffalo's defense. Kansas City scored 42 in about 2.5 quarters. So and I got action on it. I got the Chiefs in 2. I got the Bucks in 2.5. Some news about the Houston head coach position. Gannon was asked to do an in-person interview with the Texas over the head coach. Wow. Okay. Cassier outlined his interviewing method, which would include a candidate over Zoom if they impress an in-person and would be a top pick. So Gannon's a top pick. That's pretty interesting. And I'd be curious if they hire a defensive guy if they'd keep Lovie Smith. I don't know enough about. I know they don't run. I don't think they run a Tampa 2, but I think they run kind of a 4-3 defense. So it'd be kind of interesting. Yeah, Vita Veda. That defensive front, you got Sue, you got Vita. That's the reason why I really, really like Tampa Bay. Is Mahomes going to get 5 TDs again? Because I'm trying to get rich this weekend. Apparently, CEH is going to play. I don't think you're going to get 5, but I would have said against that again. But I would have said that against that last week, and he got 5 and over 400. To be perfectly honest, what I really think that what you'll see is Buffalo do the same thing that they did last time and just put 2 safeties in a parking lot and just try to, have the Chiefs dink and dunk. But the Chiefs will be able to run the ball in Buffalo. I expect them to kind of run the ball and do it a little different. So the answer is no, but I would have said the same thing against Pittsburgh. So I expect the Chiefs to be able to run the ball better than the Bills can. Now, keep in mind, the Bills may get more rushing yards because of Josh Allen, but the Chiefs running back McKinnon had a big day. CEH, who didn't play last week, I think is going to play, and that's going to be big. So at the moment, Gannon is looking to be the next coach. I'm going to do some research on him because I don't know too much about him. So what do you think about the Bills' newfound running game? Not much of it. They're a pass-first team. They drafted a guy named Zach Moss out of Utah last year. I had a huge, huge crush on the guy. I really like the guy. He's a 3-down back, not a burner. But I actually thought he would win the job over Singletary. Singletary, to me, is a guy that you want like 10 to 15 touches. He's not an every down type of back, but I think he added some weight and started playing a lot better. The Bills under Brian Daboll, they used Josh Allen as a running back. I think way too much. I don't think you should do it, but if you are going to do it, you want to do it against or you want to do it in the playoffs. You want a running quarterback in the playoffs, not in the regular season. So anytime Josh Allen takes a direct snap in the regular season, I'm always like, you moron. But in the postseason, running quarterbacks have a major, major advantage. As far as the Bills running game, no, they're a pass-first team. And that's another thing is I like about Kansas City because when they played earlier in the year, they didn't have Melvin Ingram. Melvin Ingram as a pass rusher adds something to this team. So you get Ingram, you got Chris Jones, you got Frank Clark. And I think that's kind of the advantage. The Chiefs have the better defense. And I think they have the better running game. And I think they got the better quarterback. So that's why I like the Chiefs to win and cover 2. So offensive coordinator, Jet Wright, 949 stop wide. Aaron Rodgers. How is the O-line of Kansas healthy? I heard last year they had OT out in the Super Bowl. Okay. Last year there was multiple injuries, not just 1 or 2. But this year, the right tackle is a backup. Now he played last year, so you're okay. Creed Humphrey as a rookie, as a lot of people thought that he should have beat out Kelsey as the All-Pro center. He's really good. I can argue his fellow rookie 6th-round pick Trey Smith is actually better. These are massive, massive guys. They signed Joe Thurney from the Patriots. He's been playing at lights out level, and Orlando Brown was banged up late in the season. I think he's 100%. He played very well last week. Had some problems against Watt, but that's the Bills got nobody on Watt's caliber. I really think that you're going to have Kansas City, I think, will be able to run the ball and control the clock. It may be kind of interesting because you may see Kansas City going old school in this game, and they'll be able to run the ball against Buffalo. That's kind of a reason why I like that. So Vic Fangio time in Philly, let's go. Oh, that would be a lot of fun. That would be, if I was a Philly fan, I would love this. I would love this. No, nobody's running on Tampa Bay. Bills got a good secondary. Mahomes won't get 5 touchdowns. Probably not. Tre'Davious White's out. He was active in the Week 5 win. He's out. He's their best secondary player. Not insulting Micah Hyde, by the way. Great player, but Tre'Davious White a couple years ago was a defensive MVP candidate. Hyde is not. So. Yeah, the right tackle is a backup, but the Chiefs have been able to get that taken care of. The Bills' defense won't cause problems for Kansas City like they did in Week 5. I actually think Kansas City will run the ball rather well against the Bills. I could see the Chiefs just going really old school and trying to control the clock and keep Josh Allen off the field. Mahomes likes to do those tricky shovel passes on the goal line, which technically counts as passing touchdowns and takes it. Yeah, there is a lot of when the Chiefs get in the red zone, they are one of the best teams in all of football. You have a 6'6" Kelsey. You have Tyreek Hill, the fastest player in football. You have Mecole Hardman, who would be the fastest player on probably 20 or 25 other teams, is also there. They also have Blake Bell, who's a big physical tight end, also a former quarterback. They can get creative with him. Kelsey threw a touchdown pass last week. So when the Chiefs get in the red zone, they're really, really, really dangerous. But the reason why I really like them against the Bills is that if CEH is healthy, McKinnon wasn't healthy throughout the whole season. He's not only healthy, but he's fresh. Derek Gore has been adding some touches. Darrell Williams, who has been a little bit banged up, but if you take him out and you put CEH in, and you're good to go. So I really like Kansas City in this one. So. But, hey, I didn't like Kansas City last week, so it's not confirmed yet, but he would be the only leading candidate, and there are us rumblings from the guys' front office about it. That would be a great fit, by the way. That would be a great fit. It's a different type of defense, but Fangio is a world-class defensive coordinator, world-class. Gannon is the next head coach. I wouldn't look over Don Martingale as Houston's next DC. Both coaches would have similar schemes and would work well. DC would be a definite leave since Lovey would be out if Gannon is in. Very different. I'm not really sure if Gannon runs a 3-4 or 4-3, but Martingale definitely runs a 3-4. The best part is that if you put in Gannon and Martingale into the Eagles, you got Fletcher Cox, who's still a phenomenal player. I don't know if Brandon Graham comes back. Josh Sweat is a guy who's got all the tools in the world. And then you also have Derek Barnett, a guy I absolutely loved coming out of Tennessee. He hasn't really got to the type of level that I thought he could, but that would just be awesome. That would be awesome. So that would be awesome. And they would use probably all three of those first round picks, they would do some trading around and get a bunch of defensive players to help out if that's the case. Hate to say it, Slasher, but I think Fangio ends up in Dallas, or my worst nightmare, the Raiders or Ravens. I don't see Fangio in Dallas, and the reason why is that what his system is night and day different than what Quinn runs. I wouldn't mind if Dallas was patient, but that's not something Dallas has been known for. And I don't see Fangio and McCarthy really meshing well. Fangio wouldn't surprise me if he ends up back in Chicago, which would be a lot of fun for Bears fans because they would basically keep the same defensive philosophy. But the defensive coordinator in Chicago, I don't know what his situation is. Him and Fangio work together hand in hand very well. So I don't know if you replace Fangio's right-hand man with Fangio in Chicago, but I have a hard time believing that Fangio would end up in Dallas. But the Raiders or the Ravens, if Harbaugh takes over at the Raiders and he hired Fangio, that would be really amazing. If you're a Raiders fan, really amazing. Yeah, McKinnon was injured almost the whole season, so he's fresh. He's fresh, and when you have a fresh running back like McKinnon, for those of you who don't know, I'm sorry, Denver Gator. McKinnon was a college quarterback at Georgia Southern. A matter of fact, he was the quarterback at Georgia Southern when they beat the Florida Gators. It was the first time an FCS school beat an SEC team. And I don't think they threw the ball. I remember they ran for like 450 some yards. McKinnon was the quarterback. They ran an option type of offense, which really confused the Florida Gators. And they ended up firing their head coach like almost right after that game. And they hired Mullen from Mississippi State. But McKinnon had some really good years in Minnesota, signed a big year. I think it was like a 3-year, $20 million deal at San Francisco, and was just injured the whole time. Just season-ending injury after season-ending injury. The Chiefs picked him up. A lot of people thought he was going to get cut in preseason because Derek Gore played so well, but I knew better. Andy Reid really likes these veteran players, but he was injured almost the whole season, but he's fresh and really, really good. Jerick McKinnon is healthy. He's a good running back. He's a very good running back, but he wasn't able to stay healthy in San Francisco. He hasn't been healthy his first year in Kansas City. But I mean, look at Leonard Fournette. I mean, he was barely used last year during the regular season, and then in the playoffs, boom, he's healthy and added an extra dimension to the offense. So you have the Kansas City Chiefs. They have Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill. Oh, yeah, here's this unknown McKinnon guy comes out of nowhere. But, yeah, he looked like a world beater. And you also are going to get CEH. I think CEH is healthy and is going to play. So you have some extra things. When Buffalo beat Kansas City, Buffalo had a healthy Tre'Davious White. Kansas City was kind of reeling. They were off. They weren't 100%. Now they are 100%, and Buffalo without Tre'Davious White is not, even though they've been without Tre'Davious White for months. So, but watch out, NFC East, the Philly lands Fangio. I to tell you the truth, I think that if everybody kind of sticks around in Philly and Hurts takes the next step up, then Philly's the team to beat in the NFC or in the NFC East anyway, because I think Dallas is going to take a step back. I mean, they may lose both coordinators. They have problems all over the offensive line. So, you got 3 draft picks on a playoff team that's got some really good young talent. And I mean, they got to figure out a way to get Rager motivated or out of there, but you got a number 1 receiver in Devontae Smith. Dallas Goedert looks like a top 5 tight end. And then you have a really good young defense. So Philly may be there's so much that's going to happen between now and September, but I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if the Eagles are the team to beat in the NFC, period. So Denver Gator, it's really definitely possible. I think we have leverage. Fangio has ties to Philly. He's from here. He used to coach high school teams in the 90s, and he was in DC. And Nick Sirianni. Yeah, but I don't think him and Sirianni have a connection. CEH is showing as a starter on depth chart. Okay. What Kansas City likes to do is they put him as a starter, but he may not be starting. But if he's healthy, that's an additional boost, big additional boost. He didn't play last week. Personally, I wouldn't surprise me if McKinnon plays more than CEH, but if CEH is 100%, that's really dangerous for Buffalo. If Fangio ends up in Baltimore, I cry. I don't think he's a candidate in Baltimore. I really think that they I think what they're kind of waiting for is what's going to happen with Harbaugh in Michigan. If Harbaugh leaves, then I think that they're going to tap the Michigan defensive coordinator to come back because he's already familiar with the system and familiar with the players. Baltimore traditionally is like to promote from within, so I don't think he'll end up in Baltimore. Fangio was Harbaugh DC in San Francisco. He was. Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. To be perfectly honest with you, that's why I picked the Raiders. Don't like the fit in Dallas. I don't either. It's philosophy. The philosophies are completely different. It's actually very similar to what Mike Nolan did when they had that garbage defense last year. I think Jerry's just desperate, not probable. I think Todd Bowles gets a head coaching job, and Bucks may look at Fangio. Ooh, Denver Gator, that actually makes a ton of sense because I think Bowles and Leftwich are prime candidates. I've heard Leftwich more than Bowles. And I do think that Leftwich will get a head coaching job. I'm not sure where. I know he interviewed with somebody. I'm drawing a blank of where, but Leftwich will get a job. And I think Bowles got a really bad deal with the Jets. But he's a guy who will get another head coaching job sooner or later. I have no idea if he wants to go to college. College is a possibility. But Bowles will be an interesting fit. And then if Bowles leaves, Fangio going to Tampa would be really scary for a lot of people. Really scary. The defenses are pretty similar. So that would actually be a great fit. I can almost promise you Slasher Fangio won't go to Baltimore. Baltimore has kind of narrowed it down to the two internal candidates, the defensive line coach, I'm drawing a blank on his name, and the Michigan defensive coordinator who was the linebackers coach with the Ravens. And I think that he's probably going to get the job because here's what I think is going to happen. I'm not going to go over all of them, but I'll go over a few. I think Harbaugh is going to take the Raiders job. I think that he's going to be able to get player control like Gruden had. And I think that once he takes over as the Raiders coach, then the defensive coordinator from Michigan, he'll take the defensive coordinator job with the Ravens. Okay. Slasher has some stuff. Fangio is a Ravens specialist. I didn't know this. I did not know this. So, sorry, got to go back to this game. We think about Derrick Henry scoring first touchdown in the game for. I actually like it. I really like it because you want Derrick Henry to score, and you're at home, and you really want to get the crowd involved. And Cincinnati's a very young team. This is a young, inexperienced team. This is a young, inexperienced coaching staff. If Derrick Henry, if you get the ball first, okay, if you get the ball first, you would definitely want to get Derrick Henry a rushing touchdown because the crowd would erupt and I think momentum would really switch. So yeah, I actually really like this prop. Really like this prop bet. I wouldn't take it personally because it's I've been ice cold, but actually really like it because I do think that if Tennessee gets the ball first and they get down, they will try as hard as they can to get Derrick Henry a touchdown. So I know. Hey, listen, do not apologize for rambling. I ramble a lot. I was not aware of this. This makes a lot of sense if he does have ties, but I know I saw that the Ravens won. The Ravens traditionally hire from within. I really think that it's all tied to whether Harbaugh takes the Raiders job or not. And I think he does. And I think once he does, then I think that coordinator's coming back. But Fangio, whoever gets Fangio is getting a world-class defensive coordinator. So anyone talking about Jay Gruden, head coach? Yes, one team hired or interviewed Jay Gruden as offensive coordinator. I'm drawing a blank. I want to say Carolina, but I don't think that's it because I know Carolina just signed Ben McAdoo as their offensive coordinator. Great hire, by the way, for the Carolina Panthers. Somebody interviewed Gruden. I don't remember who it was, but I like Gruden as an offensive coordinator. The last place he was at was Jacksonville, and I thought that was a terrible fit because he was trying to bring in a West Coast system, and they had a power running game with two tackles that were, not really suited for the West Coast offense. And so I thought it was a bad fit at the time, even though I did like what he did with Minshew. And I like Minshew. I think he's a solid quarterback. I'd love to see him get another chance as a starting quarterback, but that may not happen anytime soon. It's hard to say. But yeah, Jay Gruden, I think, would be a great coach somewhere. But I thought it was he interviewed somewhere as offensive coordinator. I don't know where. Damn, I'm surprised the Raiders went so far, lost the number one receiver, head coach, and I believe the number one draft pick out. Yeah, so what happened is they lost their first round pick, Damon Arnett. He signed like a futures contract with the Chiefs. He's not going to play this weekend. But Damon Arnett, there was another first round pick. Clyde Farrell was a complete bust. Ruggs, which I thought was a mistake. I thought they should have took Judy. Forget the off-field stuff. I thought Judy was just easily a better player. Sergiano did an A+ job. I hope the Raiders find a way to keep him, but more than likely, the new head coach is going to clean house on the coaching staff. And Gus Bradley did a really good job. He's got some interviews as a defensive coordinator. So Giants are expected to talk to Brian Flores for the head coaching position, interested in Bill O'Brien for offensive coordinator, as well as Art Stapleton, per Art Stapleton. Yeah. What it is that I don't know too much about the GM from that the Giants hired. He comes from Buffalo and he has some ties to Miami Dolphins. I heard Flores, this is Flores' like dream job would be the Giants. Apparently he's from the Jersey area. I didn't know about Bill O'Brien, but Bill O'Brien and Flores in New York would be phenomenal. The question is, what you do as quarterback? What you do as quarterback? That would be kind of the key, but those two together in New York, watch out. That would be really good. They're also interested in Brian Dable, the Bills offensive coordinator. I think they interviewed him as well, but it's really rare that when you tap into the Patriots tree to go back to it when it didn't work. But Flores is kind of an exception because I think a lot of people across the board don't think he should have been fired. So. You are correct about this. He was a first-round pick. Shouldn't have been a first-round pick. I blasted the Raiders for making the bad mistake. And I remember Raiders fans like, well, you couldn't trade down, so it's a good pick. No, it's not a good pick. You don't take a second-round player in the first round. And then there was, I forget what it was. It was an off-field incident that got him cut from the team. He's not playing. He is on the Chiefs, but he's not going to play. They signed him like a futures contract or something like that. They were critiquing the head coach of the Giants because he ran a sneak on 3rd and 9. I mean, no one would expect that, I guess, but really, there was lots of problems in New York, but I actually thought that Judge might get a second chance. However, once Gettleman was let go, then I was like, oh, Judge, you can't let go to GM and keep Judge. And Judge has been traditionally, well, there was talk that he was having some issues with players. But the thing is that Flores and Judge both worked together on the Patriots organization. So the defensive philosophy would pretty much stay the same. There wouldn't be too much of a change. That's why I really like this fit. The question with the Giants is not then the defensive side of the ball. It's been on the offensive side of the ball. That's been the real problem with the Giants. And of course, Barkley's injury. But I think Barkley is healthy and plays, 15 out of 17 games. And Giants might be a playoff team. So he interviewed somewhere as offensive coordinator. I forget where. Imagine if Watson gets reunited with Bob in New York, LOL, gets to be with the guy that allowed the team to get the shit, yet Watson was always in his camp. That would be interesting. As a matter of fact, I actually think that Deshaun Watson, if he does leave Houston, which I'm not sure he does, but let's say he does, I think the Giants are the number one team he would go to. And the Giants have the 5th and the 7th picks in the draft. I'm going to bring up all the draft picks that they got just for this year anyway. I think they have another 1st-round pick. So they have an extra pick in the 3rd round as well. So you could get very creative, and if you're the Houston Texans, if you pick 3rd and 5th in this draft, that's not bad. The Giants, I think, are the number one team that Watson would go to. And if Bill O'Brien comes back, you reunite those two. The defensive philosophy is basically the same. This would be a very dangerous football team. Very dangerous football team. Some people think Doug Peterson's going to Miami. Honestly, think that's a good spot for him. I know that he interviewed with Jacksonville. There were some talks that he's been working with the owner, and that he's kind of the number one candidate in Jacksonville. Personally, if I'm Doug Peterson and I could choose between Jacksonville and Miami, I would take Jacksonville, just because you have expectations are just so low in Jacksonville. You win 7 games with a guy who I think has a higher ceiling as far as the quarterback position. I also think you have some better components on defense. And now Miami's defense is great. I mean, they that secondary can play with anybody, and Jalen Phillips has all tools in the world. But Josh Allen, I think, could be a top 5 defensive end or outside linebacker. And Trevor Lawrence has all the talent in the world. And Doug Peterson, I think, would be able to get the most. I also think your receiver weapons are better, and you also get a good running back. The problem is that you have to fix the offensive line. But if I'm Peterson and I can choose between Jacksonville and Miami, I completely take Jacksonville. But it's a good spot for him in Miami. Yeah, absolutely. I cannot believe that Bill O'Brien traded Hopkins for arguably top 3 receiver at the time, basically for peanuts. There was a I'm not defending this, okay? I'm just giving you the yin and yang. There was a big part of it was the salary. He was going to hold out, and in Arizona they traded for him, and then they gave him a new contract as well. So it was part of it was financial. Part of it was financial. But yeah, absolutely. One of the best receivers, if not the best receiver in football, gave him away for almost nothing. So, yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to head off. Great show, Dan. If anything big happens in Houston, I'll message you on Twitter. Have a good night, and go Chiefs. Thanks, Alex, man, as usual. I am so happy that you're here. Thank you for the input. Yeah, message me directly. Feel free to do that anytime. So, yeah, and since we've been going on for about 2 hours, I'm starting to lose my voice. But listen, thank you, everybody, for joining in. If anybody's got anything, I'll stay on for another couple minutes, go ahead and answer all the questions. But don't forget, on your way out, give me a thumbs up. Drop a comment below if you have any comments, predictions, bold takes, like Bengals Rams, for example. Put a comment section in there. That would really, really mean a lot to me. And again, just so you know, I got 2 bets. I have Tampa Bay to cover 2.5. I got Kansas City to cover 2. And I might do some prop bets. I'm really leaning towards Devontae Adams, but I've been so ice cold, I may pass. So, yeah, I honestly agree. Jacksonville's a lot of young talent to it. If you guys, don't forget you get Travis Etienne. He comes back. I thought it was a Liz Frank injury. So I mentioned in last week's show, and somebody said it was a shoulder injury. Not a Liz Frank injury, and that's a world of difference, because the Liz Frank injury that could be a career-ending type of injury on the foot. I'm not a doctor. I'm just kind of regurgitating what I heard. A shoulder injury you can recover, and Travis Etienne, they were really banking on that, because the one thing that Jacksonville really lacked on offense was speed, and that's kind of the reason why they took Etienne in the first round, is because he can catch the ball, he return punts, kicks. He can also play in the backfield, but because you already got James Robinson as a stud running back, you don't need Etienne to be a 20 to 25 touch guy. You just need him to, 10 to 15 touches a game, and he's a threat to score anywhere on the field. Robinson, despite being one of the better running backs in football, he's not that type of guy. He's not a type of guy that is going to go 80, but Etienne is. That's why you add Etienne, then you get something really, really good. Jacksonville is a team that I think with the right coach, and you let's say you take Evan Neal and he plays at a Pro Bowl level as a rookie, that could be a playoff team. That could really be a playoff team. Oh yeah, man, I can't wait for the AFC Championship game. I would be really surprised. I predict Tennessee will win this game, and I think they'll cover 3.5. The only way they don't win this game is if you get Henry, who's rusty, and he's not 100%. I mean, I've seen this happen with running backs. They get rusty, they come back, they have a fumble or two. Traditionally, Derrick Henry's been very, very good about holding on to the ball, but that's kind of what I'm expecting from Cincinnati. They have a smaller, fast defense, very good defense, but if Derrick Henry's 100%, he should have a massive game. And I think Tennessee will advance. I was surprised at how much Joe Burrow would change Cincy. I am too. I actually predicted wrongly as of today, as of year 2, that Chase Young would be the better player. Now, keep in mind, Chase Young got injured, and Chase Young, his rookie year, was a dynamite player, looked like a game changer. He didn't produce that. I think he was injured in week 6, but I actually thought Cincinnati should have drafted Chase Young and then got like Teddy Bridgewater or somebody, but apparently I am wrong as of right now, as of today. But Chase Young, after his rookie year, looked like he was going to be a game-changing type of player. And year 3, he may be a superstar. So we'll have to see. But as of right now, I'm wrong about that prediction. Yeah, the Liz Frank injury could be a career ender. Notorious for using, yeah. But I think that they're it's too much this year. But yeah, Jets and Jacks, hoping that they'll be within a couple of years. They'll be very interesting. Dude, Etienne at Clemson was amazing. Jets have 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders, lots of potential to make a big leap next year, not to mention Big Cat. Yeah, the Jets are in really, really good shape. I was actually looking at them in their draft situation, because here's what they got. They got 4, 10, 35, and 38, and 69. But yeah, they got 4 picks in the first 38. And if you remember, they went from 6 to 3 to get Sam Darnold, and then the Colts at 6 got Quentin Nelson, and then with the second round pick got Darius Leonard. So they got 2 first-team All-Pros. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets get a little creative and want to trade down. But at 4 and 10, I saw a mock draft. Normally I cringe when I see mock drafts on Facebook, but there was one in particular. I should put a link to it because I messaged guy. I was like, there were some things I disagree with, but some of these were really, really good. But he had Hutchinson at 4 and Kalifdis at 10, and it made sense. But if you add those two players onto the Jets, wow. Everyone leave a thumbs up, come back to the video, and leave some comments, help the algorithm. Thank you so much, Denver Gator. Good night, everyone. Oh, yeah, either Quinn or Hackett will be announced Broncos head coach on Monday. Dude, hit me up. You actually got my number, Denver Gator. You can text me if you want, man. ATN's brother wow, that's a big signing for Florida. Big signing for Florida if he's anything like his brother. So anyway, guys, I'm going to head out. Don't forget, give me a thumbs up. Drop a comment below. I'll see everybody back next Friday.